Hey, yo, what's going on, man? It is your boy, baby, JoeNoJoseph, and I'm back at it again with another one, all right? Today, woo-wee, the fans go missing. After seeing their favorite artist, I'm hyped for this, man. We got another mystery coming up on the channel, all right? Make sure if you guys haven't already tuned in to the Fellas Mysteries channel, you get hip ASAP, okay? The first link in the description will take you there. Let's go ahead and dive in. Don't forget, baby, every Monday, this is where we at. So make sure you're here every Monday, okay? Pull up, baby. It's a sight to see.
Thinking about it. I'm sorry I'm late, Chip, man. That is my bad. But funny enough, I wasn't actually late. I was here on time, and guess what? The security guard stopped me and said, "You're not getting in with that on." Mate, I was just wearing a rapper's merch for a top.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mate. An absolute travesty.
Right. Case for you.
Did you get that?
Where's Manseb at, bro? Where's Manseb at, okay?
I got that one.
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't get that one.
At the time, there was no crime bigger than when two Chicago sisters went to see an Elvis movie and never came home.
Barbara was 15 years old. Patricia was 13 years old. The investigation started with the night the sisters disappeared.
Their bodies were found 61 years ago tonight.
Two investigator Brad Edwards has an unprecedented look at the...
Why were they looking it up 60 years later? Oh my God.
entire case file for a crime that never stopped haunting some Chicagoans.
Prescott spotted what he believed were two mannequins laying on the other side of the guardrails that lined the road near Devil's Creek.
Is there any help to solve this one? Sometimes the passage of time works against you.
Bro, that's crazy. Like, I've always been the kind of guy where I'm like, hey, listen, bro, after like 20, 30 years, you gotta pray about it, man. Let God handle that. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of over at that point.
Grime Sisters, two teenage girls aged 12 and 15, Barbara and Patricia Grimes. They disappeared on December the 28th, 1956. This crime,
Look, shorty on the left looked like she might have just killed them both. I'm not even gonna lie.
quote, shattered the innocence of Chicago and has been acknowledged as one of the most labor-intensive missing person and murder investigations. The two girls disappeared on the way back from the Chicago theater. Now, they were watching a screening of Elvis Presley's Love Me Tender. You seen that?
I can't say I've ever watched
Another
that.
robbery.
Neither have I. Now, they were massive fans. They'd actually just joined his fan club, and this was the 11th time?
11 times. No, that's right.
11th
times.
time they've been watching this film. Like, that's
Have you ever watched a film 11 times?
100%. 100%.
What film?
Borat. Tenacious D, Pick a Destiny.
Wow. You know what mine is? Remember the Titans. You ever watched Remember the Titans?
That's quite a serious film, man.
That is. It's a cultural classic.
Bro, I don't think I think the only film that I've ever watched that many times is when I was a child, and it was probably Cinderella. I was addicted. Judge me, whatever, okay? I'll still smash some moms.
No wonder you have this energy about you.
What, Sigma
Yeah.
energy?
No. I'm the Sigma, okay?
Let's talk about the actual disappearance of these two sisters. So there was a school friend of Patricia's, and she was at this theater where they went to go watch this movie, and it was a double feature, meaning that they were showing two movies.
Double whammy,
meaning
right?
there was an intermission in between,
Yep.
and then they would go and watch another one, right? And
Little
at this intermission, the school friend said that they both seemed to be in a pretty good mood. Everything seemed absolutely normal, all of this. And because they went to go
pray
watch
for you,
two
Jack.
movies, it meant that they were going to be home at around 11:45 p.m.
Oh, stop,
quite late.
Tim.
And with that, their mother sent out their older sister and their brother to meet them at the bus stop for when they came. Now, obviously,
Let me not cap for a second.
Yeah.
Sending a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old out, knowing that they're going
Past
both gonna be back
midnight?
at midnight. If a 12-year-old child coming back at 11:45
Bro,
late.
on the bus as well.
This how you know they were white, because, bro, if you were outside past the street light coming on, oh my God. Oh my God, you were getting torn a new butt cheek, bro. Like, there's no way. 12 o'clock at 15? At 15? Bro, I am a grown man, and I can't go to my parents' house right now to this day and come in past midnight. I could never come in. I couldn't even come in past 9 o'clock. They would never allow that. They would never allow that.
Could be one of those things where it was a town where maybe
A small town,
an area
is
they
it?
didn't
Is
think
it?
anything would be too bad. I mean, it was Illinois, Chicago. It's not got the best rep. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. We're not here to judge the parents' parenting skills.
I tell
okay?
you what, though, they do good pizzas.
What, in Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, Chicago Town Pizzas.
Yeah, the one from Sainsbury's.
Yes.
It does count.
I'm not too sure if it's from Chicago, but it's what it's called anyways.
Well, if it's not, then it's very misleading.
Okay. Anyways, let me continue on because the
No
older
cap,
sister
no
and the
cap.
brother went there, and buses went past. 3 buses went past,
Yep.
and the sisters didn't get off the bus.
That's worrying.
Absolutely. So at 2:15, they filed a missing persons report and said,
Okay.
both the sisters, they aren't here, they're gone.
Now, it actually took around a week for the police to shrug off the theory that they'd, gone and stayed with their boyfriends, which to me sounds a bit silly anyway. We said earlier,
Yeah.
15 and 12 years old going to stay at their boyfriends.
No way. Surely
That
the
does-
parents are the parents are already lax letting them stay out to almost midnight. We think.
Now
But
they get to stay
surely
with the boyfriend?
Staying at their boyfriends at that age, I'm not convinced.
15, maybe. 12, probably
Certainly
not.
not.
Anyway, by December the 31st, which was 2 days later,
I'm just pausing this right now to let you guys know that none of us are the same, okay? None of us are the same, all right? Bambino Becky liked my tweet. We're not the same, okay? I'm just letting y'all know.
the girls were front page news. Just on New Year's as well. It's
Yeah.
not ideal,
This-
really.
This is a festive period, and this is absolutely not how you'd be wanting to go into the new year.
Yep. There was a theory that the girls had gone to Tennessee, you're the only Tennessee, to watch Elvis Presley in concert, but they only had $2.50 on them. Now, I don't think that would have even got you far back in the 50s.
No, I mean, first of all, you'd have to somehow get transport there, then also pay for the concert ticket. So unless they met someone who promised to take them there, which was maybe always a possibility.
Yeah. They probably already spent that money at the movie theater as well.
Yeah.
Because
Well, according to the mum, they only had
when,
$2.50
when they left.
Yeah.
And also,
Imagine being able to
Loretta
leave your
came
house with
forward.
$2.50.
To those curious.
Can't even buy some
Say,
Skittles
Loretta
with
came
that.
forward and she said, if someone is holding them, please let the girls call me. I'll forgive them from the bottom of my heart. That's Cap.
Yeah.
That's hella
Trying to get the
cap.
girls back. Anyway,
An interesting thing that happened was Elvis Presley himself, right? The man himself. This is because it became such a big news story. Elvis Presley obviously caught wind of it and made a direct radio plea asking the girls to go home to their mother.
Yes.
Imagine that.
uh-huh.
That's crazy.
Stop,
Well,
Chip. Stop.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
At this point, it was obviously a massive deal. This was a
Why?
big case, and it had a lot of media attention. I mean, having Elvis Presley come out and sort of, recognize that this is an ongoing case is big enough to make sure that all of the police had their eyes trained on this. In fact, there were hundreds of police officers assigned to this case full-time, and hundreds of local volunteers also came out to help.
That's a lot of people.
This is what we were talking about at the beginning when we mentioned that this was, one of the biggest and most labor-intensive missing persons and murder investigations there was, right? There was even 15,000 flyers that were distributed to local homes, right? Not only that, but their local church as well offered up $1,000 reward.
I like that.
For any
Yo, that was a
information
lot
would help.
back
That
then.
always comes in pretty handy.
1,000.
Now, here's some crazy stats.
That's how you know churches just be wilding, bro. They just be having money for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, just be hoarding shit, bro. A K? They just pulled a rack out there. Jesus was like, here you go. What? Stop it. Stop it. Bottle boy.
That's right. Over 300,000 people were questioned in this. Now, I'm sure question could just mean a knock on the door, asking a couple questions. We're not talking about intense questioning. In fact, there were 2,000 who they claim were seriously interrogated. That is still a massive amount of people to seriously interrogate, right? Ultimately, 2 people were arrested, right? And charges against someone who confessed ended up failing.
Ooh.
Yes, guys, we are back, and we need to keep this big old light on.
Oh,
You can't see it, but it's
100%.
literally right here.
Yep.
Okay? And we have ourselves a little ad read for
Why?
you guys. And it's from the good people over at Babbel.
Lovely.
Chip, how many times have you been on holiday?
Bro, I'm so proud of the boys, man. This is their second ad now. Oh, man. Hey, welcome to the channel, okay? But just so you know, we skipped these. I'm not even going to lie to you. Yeah, we skipped those.
Which is great. I mean, you don't want to be waiting. You can. in your ear, nice and easy. You guys
Holy
know how much
shit.
of a podcast over here.
Oh, they
If you're wondering what sort
really
of,
support it.
languages
These
we're-
boys got almost a
By
2-minute
guardrail.
ad read.
Now it was
k.babbel.com/play promo code mysteries for an extra 6 months free.
3 weeks later, January 22nd, a construction worker has found both of the girls' bodies by a guardrail. Now, it was believed that the girls, were driven out here, whether they've
And they just dumped
been
them?
killed at this spot or dumped at this spot. I'm not quite sure. There were 3 wounds found on Barbara's chest, which were believed to be from an ice pick.
That is
Bit of
grim.
a strange one, but it is January.
Ice
so it's probably
pick?
cold, but not sure if
Still,
Why would
yeah.
you be carrying an ice pick around?
Maybe you're absolutely mental murderer, serial killer, creep. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, she had blunt force injuries indicated towards blunt force trauma to the head.
Yeah.
Patricia as well just had bruises all up and down her body.
Yeah.
The scene was attended by over 160 police officers and forest preservers. Obviously, they're trying to find.
I mean, that's what we're talking about when we said how many. There were so many people involved in this. When,
Yeah,
in the
they
UK,
put
would you ever
everyone
have
on it.
160 officers rock up to? To the crime
Never.
scene? I don't know.
Anyway,
But that's
they're
how you
trying to
know it was
find
high
evidence
priority.
linked
That's
to the crime.
100. I mean, honestly, if they were black, they would have showed up like that. Or if they thought it was a black man outside killing people, it probably would have been 160. Probably.
I have to ask though, if you said 160 officers, I understand that manpower is great, especially when you're trying to find a missing person, having as many people as possible. But do you need 160 officers at a crime scene? Surely at that point, it almost
Round it up.
becomes
I'm-
detrimental to it. You're going to ruin evidence.
Yeah, well, that is what got criticised. Apparently, they shouldn't have allowed untrained people to trample over what could have been evidence. So maybe not so much officers because they are trained, but the forest preservers. But I guess they were just in their head at the time. They were thinking we need to cover
lots of ground.
They
Find
got
evidence.
some
But I mean,
dummies.
yeah, if they're trying to find the body, let's cover lots of ground and try and find these bodies, right? But they found the bodies now, so now all you're doing is probably walking over evidence.
Evidence, yeah.
Especially if you're just forest preserver, they don't know what to look out for.
Yeah, but and I'm sorry, but I can't see many situations where 160 police officers would be needed at a crime scene where it's just 2 girls. At this point, you're hoping the autopsy that they performed, they had 3 experienced forensic pathologists on this one. So
I like that.
Not just 1, but 3. Like I'm saying, there's a lot of people working on this case, right? I think we figured that out. And they all couldn't agree on a date of death, or they couldn't even agree necessarily on the cause of death.
Was it
But
because
they had
of all the
a
ice?
few things to say about it anyways, and what they did say was that they reckon the person was killed within 5 hours of their last confirmed sighting, which is pretty interesting, and that they both died of something called secondary shock.
Okay.
Obviously, you got your primary shock of when
Inflicted by rodents.
that happens, and then the secondary shock, it can be caused due to
So the
low
bodies were
blood
outside or
pressure
something?
and like
What?
that when you have these injuries, and of course they were found in the cold, so they reckon that it could have been to do with that as well. At the same time, though, because their bodies were on the side of a road, they also think that maybe some of the injuries that they saw on the bodies could have been caused by rodents, right? And
That's not the worst suggestion.
no,
though.
it's not the worst, but it's cold weather out there, and I would just think if you have
Rats are
3
built different, man.
No, they are.
Yeah.
If this was London, the rats would have eaten the whole body.
Yep.
Right? But my question
What kind of rats y'all got in London,
surely they
chat?
can identify rodent marks. They think that it's rodent.
This
but
was
they're
like
not
20
able to
years
tell.
ago, though, so
Maybe
probably
I would
not.
think that you could
Yeah,
tell.
I'd
was
like to
way
say
longer
that
than
too.
20
Maybe
years
back in
ago.
the 50s is a little bit more difficult. I don't know.
It's like
Were
100
the
years
bodies
ago.
maybe held somewhere beforehand in some underground place, and dead bodies, and then they were moved and they were dumped away, and in that place the bodies were eaten by some rodents? I don't know, but either way, that's absolutely grim to think about. Inside the autopsy, they also found that Barbara had participated in sexual intercourse prior to her death, but couldn't figure out whether it was consensual or not. So that doesn't
Now,
really
Barbara
help.
was the 15-year-old. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not
If she
unheard
did
of.
have a boyfriend
She had a
as well.
boyfriend, yeah.
So it could have been, but I don't know. It's
I mean,
just
that
something
one's,
to
that
know.
one's up in the air.
Yeah.
Now, Chief Investigator Harry Gloss
I'm still trying to figure out
believes, he
how-
stated this to the media, that the marks on her body indicated violence. He didn't believe in the rodent infestation.
So he's
thing.
Team Calfreezy then?
He was Team Calfreezy. He was on your side.
I'm not convinced it's rodents either.
Yes. He also said that a thin layer of ice around the body indicated that the girls had most likely been alive until at least January the 7th.
Which is about 2 weeks before the bodies were found.
Jesus.
Maybe just under that.
Yep, we got more details coming in
So they were
hot
dead
off
for
the presser,
just what?
if that's the thing. And he also said that the autopsy showed that Patricia, they discovered semen inside Patricia, which indicated,
Some sort of sexual assault.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
However, other investigators are disagreeing with our man Harry Gloss, insisting there has been no such evidence of extreme violence or sexual molestation prior to the death. So,
This case had a bit of controversy.
yeah, like
right?
two sides to the coin, you know?
Because they claim that in the original behind-the-scenes papers that they had reported that there was this sexual assault, but in what was released to everyone else, that bit was missing. So did they decide that actually no, we don't think that? But then why was it in the original one?
Was there not enough evidence?
Yeah, I don't know. So we have that, but now we have to start talking. So we've laid everything out.
Yep.
We know what's happened. The bodies were found, in what state they were found. We've gone through the autopsies. Now it's time to figure out who did this.
Suspect number 1. This boy was 17 years old. Max Fleeg at the time, he was considered the prime suspect. Now, due to his age, he's only been 17.
And he was ice picking girls?
And, he didn't have to do a polygraph test, which is a lie detector test for those who don't know. But he did do an unofficial one, which he actually volunteered to do himself straight off the bat.
Get himself cleared up. Like, I'll do it anyways. Don't worry.
And during this test, he allegedly confessed to the murders. Bit strange. Why would you volunteer and then confess? I don't really know. Either way, since it was unofficial, they couldn't use the results from the test. They couldn't use that.
So it was just pretty pointless.
Yeah,
the whole thing,
they couldn't use that confession. There was no legal means to use it. And they were forced to release him without charge. And there was also a lack of physical evidence anyway to corroborate his story.
Yeah.
But, however, later he was jailed for the murder of another woman.
Oh, mate, what a disaster. That is a massive disaster.
He's gone in, he's done the test, he's gone, yes, I did it, I killed the 2 girls.
Yeah.
They can't use it because he's underage, it's an unofficial test. There is also no physical evidence, and then, so he gets out, and then he does actually go on to get jailed for murdering another woman. That looks dodgy to me.
That does look really dodgy.
It's
like he's thought,
it's like this was his warm-up.
I can get away with it for ages.
Yeah, this was the warm-up killing.
Like, he got
That's
away
what it
with
sounds like to me.
Yeah, I'll go kill another woman.
Yeah.
This time he actually gets caught.
The reason why it's 17 years old, that makes you think that maybe the girls trusted him a little bit more.
But
kind of links in a little.
Is it only in America that at 17 they have the option to try you as an adult? Or they have the option to push? Or is that like a new law? Somebody let me know in the comments, please.
He's closer age, maybe he was the older boyfriend or something of the kind.
Know. But anyways, like you said, he got released and he went and committed that murder and ended up getting jailed.
Yeah.
So that's one of the suspects. The next one here that we have is a man named Walter Kranz.
Ooh, that just sounds like a serial killer.
He does.
Yeah.
Do you not think, like, have you ever met anyone recently who's called Walter? I
No.
feel like it's a fictional name.
Yeah, Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Right, now this man was 53 years old at the time, and he was a self-proclaimed psychic, right? And he called the Chicago's Central Police Complaint Department, you can just call them up, on January the 15th, right? So now, remember, January 15th was before the girls were found, they were found on the 22nd, so about a week prior, he called up and he
Depends on
described
severity
the
of the
park where
crime.
the girls would be able to be found. Now, we know that they weren't found, that wasn't where their bodies were because they were found on the side of a road.
Yep.
But interestingly enough, it was only 1 mile away from that park. So it was still a little bit close, but this guy was a self-proclaimed psychic, and he was obviously questioned. You have to look into these things. 1 mile isn't too far away, and his family, it was a family of psychics, right? And then not only that, but he claimed that this vision came to him after a night of heavy drinking. I'll be perfectly honest with you, Chip. If there's anyone more equipped to understand what a night of heavy drinking will do, it is you and I.
Yep.
And I'll be perfectly honest with you. I've never woken up the next day and thought, I know where these people have been found. Drinking, I haven't quite got to that point with it.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of cap.
Yeah, obviously
Walter's
he was
going through a midlife crisis. He needs to buy a motorbike.
Yeah, he was capping.
Yeah.
Walter was capping, and he was eventually released. I mean, come on.
Bro, never. The next day, all I'm thinking about is probably apologizing for something, and then also food. All I want to do is eat.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my dream, right?
And it wasn't even the right place.
Yeah, it was a mile away.
Yeah.
Now, you know Harry Gloss, he did have his favorite suspect, and that was a man named Edward Bedwell. He was 21 years old, tall individual, and he strongly resembled Elvis Presley. Now, the owners of the restaurant where Edward was employed claimed that on the morning of December 30th, both Bedwell and another young male, had been with two girls who strongly resembled the Grime Sisters.
So far, so good,
So
Chip.
far, so good. Now, he was arrested, interrogated for 3 days, and he was formally charged on January the 27th. He signed a 14-page confession confessing to the murders that he and another 28-year-old man who was called William Cole Willingham,
that's a serious
quite
name.
a name, had given the girls hot dogs before extensively beating them and throwing them into a snow-filled ditch.
What? First of all, ain't nobody that is out here giving out glizzies beating up people, bro. We don't do that. First of all, we don't give out glizzies either. We say them hoes for ourselves, brother.
Because they said no to their sexual advances. Now, that kind of adds up,
It
right?
might sound crazy to a normal person, but there are some crazy weirdos out there.
Yeah, and the story kind of lines up the dates and stuff. Anyway, when reading the confession, Loretta Grimes said, "It's a lie. My girls wouldn't be on West Madison Street. They didn't even know where it was." Now, quickly, I just want to say, that could be true.
That's
but
cap, bro.
let's be
Parents
honest,
don't know shit
there are
about their
places
kids.
My mom thinks I haven't gone.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, it's true. And these are two girls, 12 and 15. They're probably a little bit rebellious.
Yeah.
You know, mom told me not to go down here. I'll go down
Mom
here.
might have told me when I was a kid, don't go to this specific park. I probably went there.
Yeah.
Kids do that.
Yeah.
So, you know, just because she...
Yeah, I don't know about that. It still blows my mind that people think that the UK, that America is crazier than the UK. Blows my mind. Like, bro, y'all be fighting in the streets with samurai swords, dog. Like, stop it. I don't care. Bringing a fucking sword versus an AK, I'm always gonna be scared of the sword, okay? Because what made this dude crazy enough to think that was okay? You know what I mean? Just saying.
believes that
their kids wouldn't go there.
her daughters are angels, they wouldn't do that. It's not necessarily true.
Yeah. Willingham, Bedwell's friend that they spoke of, actually says that he was in the company of Bedwell and two girls, but he said those two girls were not the Grime Sisters. After that, Bedwell quickly took back his confession, said, actually, yeah, no, I'm not confessing to this. And frankly, the story doesn't really line up because they were, at the time they said they beat up the girls, they were at work.
Okay,
right?
They clocked in.
They literally clocked in at work, and so there was evidence of them not. The timelines didn't match up. And then on the day that they said they'd killed him, he was also at work. So it's not really possible.
And then it's like, why did you sign a 14-page confession? Were they coerced by the police? The police thought these are two good.
We found that a lot lately.
Suspects.
I would like to know, why do people confess to these things?
I think if the police
they didn't do it,
get someone nailed down and why would they sign that? You know, if you are innocent, why would you sign it? But obviously the police are trying to pressure them.
They're trying to nail someone.
But if you are innocent, you know, why would you let the police pressure you if you are innocent?
I have seen.
Did they have something else in them?
No, well, maybe, but I have seen Netflix documentaries all about that particular scenario where people that didn't do it, and you're right, they get coerced into confessing, and it's really weird. But I don't know whether that was the case with this, or he just wanted the credit for it. You know how people are just weird like that, aren't they? Now,
I feel like there's like a club of people out there that are just looking for stuff to pop up in the news just so they can call and like admit to it, like, or call and say that they like. I feel like a lot of people think that they're gonna get like famous or something from this kind of stuff, and they go and do that, which is just so weird.
6 came around, and he was let out on a $20,000 bond.
That's cash money right there.
The same year of his acquittal, he ended up being tried and acquitted of sexual assault of a 13-year-old in Florida. This man ended up dying in 1972.
How you get yourself in that situation twice on the same year?
So, but the point is that maybe he did do it.
Yeah.
Maybe he did do it, and he thought, right, well, I've got away with that. Again, I'm just gonna go and do this.
100%, 100%. Maybe he was feeling guilty. He's feeling guilty.
People are
signed
weird.
a 14-page confession, regretted it, thought, you know what, I can get out.
I can
of
get
this
away with
situation.
this.
I can get out. Got out of it. Went again. Actually, also got out of that because he had got acquitted for the rape of the 13-year-old. But to be in that situation twice in the same year, it's already looking very dodgy.
Crazy.
Like you don't end up in the same situation by accident. First time, maybe wrong place, wrong time.
Maybe
right?
it was.
Nah.
I don't know.
You've got
I
to be a dodgy bloke.
Look,
It's just
we're not,
weird.
We don't got the details on that particular case, so we can't comment on that case,
No.
right? Anyway, let's talk a little bit about what happened after these prime
Oh man, Seb, you missed it, bro. Travis Scott quotes all over the episode.
suspects had been interviewed.
Now, unfortunately for the mother, she was obviously unable to work or earn money, and she needed to pay the mortgage. She also needed to pay to bury her daughters. Friends and family actually came together and raised enough money in donations that she could pay off her entire mortgage, and she could actually bury her daughters.
Amazing.
Very
We love
nice
that.
thing from the community there.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy because you would think the church would have just offered up like half of that $80 million thing that they were offering if the person got found. That's crazy for me.
Now, she was actually getting a lot of hoax calls, so obviously they've managed to get hold of her number, whatever.
Well, it was such a public case.
Yeah,
that you were going to get some weird things like this.
Yeah, but one of them in particular stood out. Now, somebody called up, and the caller said that he knew a detail that nobody else knows, not even the police, and that was that Patricia's toes were crossed.
That's...
What? The fuck does that have to do with anything?
Mate, that
Very-
must be such a spooky phone call to receive.
100%.
Especially as the mother.
I think at that moment, once you're told something that nobody should know,
Yeah.
you are instantly, your heart's going to drop and be like, I could be talking to the man that has murdered my daughters.
Yeah, right. And look, the mother has to end up taking it a little bit further from there. So at this point, she says, right, look, the police aren't looking into it anymore because they've just sacked it off. And now it's time to look at this on a personal investigation level, right? Now,
Damn, I wish they went deeper into what like that had to do like on like some cult shit or something, but they didn't.
this personal, I should say, this retired police officer that was helping out in the personal investigation believes that it was the work of a 23-year-old who goes by the name of Charles Leroy Melquist.
Shut up,
Wow.
live.
Name that.
Yeah, in September 1958, he had actually been convicted of the murder of a 15-year-old, right, who was found 10 miles away from the spot where the Grime Sisters were found. So obviously this guy was operating in similar areas.
Yeah.
What?
We know he's capable of murder.
Yeah, not only that, but there was similarities in the murders itself and also the disposal. For some bizarre reason, and we couldn't quite figure this out, we spoke about it earlier, but they actually said he was not allowed to be questioned in relation to the Grime Sisters murders as his attorney forbade it. Really...
It's not like he's too young. He is actually 23 years old, so there's no laws on the age there.
Yeah, and we couldn't really figure out, like, how's an attorney just said, oh yeah, nah, sorry, you can't question him. Was it maybe because there was just not enough evidence, so they said, I don't know, we don't maybe know the law that well enough.
That's for the courtroom.
Yeah. So anyways, the attorney said no, and that was that. The day after this 15-year-old's body was found, her name was Bonnie Leigh Scott. After that body was discovered, Loretta, the mother, received another phone call. And this time, it was from the same voice, and it said, "I've committed another perfect crime. This is another one the cops won't solve, and they're not going to blame Bedwell or Barry Cook." Now, the mother said that this was the exact same voice as the
It's
one
gotta be
she
the same
heard in
per-
May
it's
1957.
I think it's one of them, bro, trying to get them off the
She
tracks,
didn't
bro.
forget that voice.
Yeah, but that's what
and
she
as
said.
a mother,
Bro,
you
That's a
wouldn't.
mom.
You
Yeah,
wouldn't, exactly.
moms aren't forgetting that.
And nothing ever came of it. Still unsolved. No one's doing time for this particular case. Charles Leroy Melquist did die in 2010. Was he the guy? What do you think, Chip? Out of all these suspects, we've got Max, the 17-year-old.
Nah.
We have got the psychic Walter. We've also got.
I literally don't think it's any of them. I think it has to be. Hey, Big
Life Ice
Daddy
Feels
Life!
podcast gifted a tier 1 sub to Big_Manseb. They have given 71 gift subs in the channel.
Sheesh. The Big 7-1? Hey, come on. Thank you so much, Life. Hey, Mansub's been a part of the game for a while now, man. I'm happy you were able to help him out with that. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
The chief.
But off tops, I don't think it's any of these guys. I think they haven't found the guy. It sounds to me like they're just trying to point the finger on on like the easiest person. Like it literally sounds like they barely did any actual police work. They were just looking for people to be given to them.
Investigator's favorite, Edward Bedwell, and then finally, the man on the phone, Charles Leroy Melquist. Who are you leaning
I got
towards?
a couple questions straight off the bat. First of all, he said that nobody knows this detail about the toes being crossed, not even the police. Well, the police must have known because
They have
found
pictures
the
of it.
Somebody must have
Dummy.
told the mother that the police that the toes
Dummy.
were crossed, or because the mother didn't find the bodies.
Yeah.
So who told the mother that the toes were crossed? And if nobody told her, that means she's seen the bodies and seen for herself that the toes were crossed, which means everybody else has.
What you're saying is have they confirmed it? Have they confirmed
How
it?
has that detail missed everybody else, but only the mother and the killer have noticed?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that's the first thing. Also, the man on the phone said,
Or what I could say is they noticed and didn't care to pay too much attention to it because they realized that it probably wasn't that important. You know what I mean? What do toes have to do with it, Joe? I don't know. I'm so confused. I feel like they might be trying to like allude to some type of like what would you call it? Like cult thing or like a sacrifice or something. I feel like it just seems weird. I don't understand the toes thing.
they're not going to blame Bedwell or Barry Cook.
I think it was probably Edward Bedwell until we can get 100% confirmation that the toes were crossed, and that is genuinely only something that the people that had arrived to and seen the bodies would know. Then I would be more inclined to believe that it's Charles. But I don't know if we've either had any confirmation on it, or it's just a little bit up in the air right now. And I think
Maybe Edward Bedwell was the one that made the call.
Bedwell got away with it.
Maybe he made the call.
Maybe
it
I don't
possible?
know. I think they would be able to recognize the voice and be able to put to it. Actually, it's not recorded, so
Well, it might have been recorded. I don't
Yeah.
know. There's a couple of details, extra details we would need to figure out that.
that exact thing. Anyways, we want to know your guys' theories on this. Who do you think did it? Do you think there's any way we can rule out some of these suspects? We want you guys to know. Of course, guys, we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a bunch of other platforms as well. We leave links down below. If you want to just listen to the audio, maybe you're on a commute and you just prefer it that way.
They need to put their stuff on SoundCloud. Somebody needs to tell them that. I feel like they would get a lot of attraction on SoundCloud. Just because it's free. All of them are free, but it's just easier to get on, and a lot of people still have SoundCloud. That's just my thought. Hey, thank you guys so much for checking that out. Again, I still think that this is still an unsolved case. I don't think they have him. I don't know. It makes no sense, okay? So if you guys haven't already, subscribe to the boys, man, and maybe, you know what I would like to see? I would honestly really like to see them create somewhere where we could all, like, kind of discuss certain cases, and then they could do updates, like, from the community on, like, what the community thinks and, like, read over some of our theories, you know what I mean? I would love that. I feel like that would be really interesting to see. So, again, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for your time. I love y'all, baby.